Hi, and welcome to Camp Happy Mail, and also welcome back to Spellbinders 13 Days of Craftoween. We are on day 8, which means we are more than halfway through this already. So let's see what we've got to work with for day 8. Okay, day 8, we've got kind of a theme that's built from the other ones with the crow and the books and the candle and just the spooky theme. I really do like the way that they've done the packaging on these. So, day 8. Cheers to spooky sips. Well, that's a really cool mug made out of the skull. Okay, lots of elements to work with here. This one looks a little complex as well with lots of pieces. But we're going to come up with a little idea for this, and then we'll build a card. Okay, I think we're ready. This one, like the previous ones, looks like a lot of pieces, and it is a lot of pieces, but it will come together pretty quickly, I think. So let's go ahead and get started. Again, I used a sketch with this one. I'm using sketches with all of these, mostly Queen & Company sketches. This one is number 25. Well, it's a variation of number 25, and it looks like this. I am changing some things on this. I don't have a die that makes this banner piece. I could make one. I could just cut it out myself, but it wouldn't have the stitching on it, and I really like the stitching. I need to pick up the set that has that one in it because it's used in a lot of them, and I really like that banner. So we're not going to have that banner piece on the back, but instead I triple matted my layers instead. We're also changing this circle. Instead of it having the pointed starburst, we're just going to use a solid starburst. Well, it's not a starburst, just a solid circle. We are using a different label for the sentiment that will go on it as well, instead of the banner. I've used banners on quite a number of them. And mine won't have this piece down here. Now, I do have the die that makes this piece, but I decided not to include that. So, although it is kind of loosely based on a sketch, it's also kind of not. So, sketches can be a good jumping off point if you want to go that direction. And this did give me a direction to go in. And then I just changed it up to be what I wanted it to be. So let's go ahead and get started. So my back piece, this is a piece of pattern paper. It does have the stitch border around it, which I love the stitch borders. And I don't know if you can see it that well. I'm trying to see the camera here. Yeah, you can kind of see that there is a spider web texture within the triangle patterns that's on this, which I thought was a really nice subtle touch to this. So let's go ahead and glue this down on our card base. Our card base is a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 standard A2 size. That is the size card that I make the most. If you've seen any of my other videos, that is my typical standard card size. Every once in a blue moon, I'll do a slimline card, or I might do a square card. But typically, I keep them at 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And the reason for that is in the United States, it's one stamp to mail it if you don't have a lot of bulk to it. And I like that aspect because they keep raising the price of stamps, and the service doesn't seem to get any better. So one stamp it is, if I can do that. The other reason why I like the A2 size card is you can get 2 card bases out of one sheet of 8 1/2 by 11 paper. And I like that as well. Although in recent years I have bought my card bases pre-cut, pre-scored. That saves wear and tear on my trimmer and also on my arms. I've got some wrist issues. And it's just easier for me to do it that way. But for my color cardstock, I can easily cut a sheet of 8 1/2 by 11, and I have 2 card bases, which is a beautiful thing. The other reason why I like this size is it's not a big real estate space to fill. Now, I used to be a scrapbooker. I started out at doing 8.5 by 11 scrapbooks, and I did that for a number of years, and that was the perfect size for me. Because it wasn't a lot of space to fill up. I could still print my pictures larger if I wanted to, or I could keep them smaller. And I didn't have to use a lot of extra things on the pages. I was a scrapbooker from 1998 until 2018. And I do have completed books for all of those years. But with the scrapbooking, I did eventually move to 12 by 12 size when Project Life came out. And if you're a scrapbooker, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You know who Becky Higgins is, and you know what Project Life is. So I switched to the 12 by 12 format. Doing a 12 by 12, to fill a 12 by 12 sheet of paper just on its own without the little pocket pages was always overwhelming to me. And I do have some books where I did the 12 by 12 pages without the plastic page protectors, like the little pocket pages. And those books, I was able to print the pictures really, really large, which I loved. I was never one for putting a lot of fluff or embellishments on my pages. So our pages are very, very photo focused. But anyways, back to the cards. When I started making cards again, I made my first card in 1989 is when I first started card making, and I made the cards off and on over the years. And the A2 size card always just appealed to me because it wasn't a whole lot of real estate that I had to fill up with a bunch of stuff. I'm very clean. My cards are very clean and classy looking. Doing things that are collage or multimedia or a lot of layering and things like that sometimes gets overwhelming to me. I'm trying to learn how to do those things, but a lot of my cards are just clean and simple, and I like them that way. As Tim Holtz always says, you do you. If you like your cards to be cluttered and lots of layers and lots of elements, then you know that's perfectly fine. You probably noticed throughout this series that my cards have all been pretty clean, pretty, I want to say easy, because I am using card sketches. And I'm debating right now whether I want to glue this down, and yeah, I'll probably glue this down and we'll pop this part up. So, yeah, clean with, you know, extra space around the elements. That's more my style than cluttered with a lot of embellishments and things. And anyway is really okay. There is no wrong way to make your cards. There is no wrong way to do your scrapbooks or your journals or, you know, whatever it is you're making. It's all 100% up to you what you want to do. But I tend to lean towards, you know, clean cut. And this is where our focal point is going to be. And on all the cards, I've had a place where the focal point was going to be. On this one, we had the starburst that the Count Dracula guy was in the middle of. The one that we did yesterday, I used the framed piece as the area where the focal point would be. Day 2, we had this wood plaque that I made to be the focal point area. So all of my cards have had a place for where the focal point would be because I want that focal point to stand out. You certainly don't have to do it this way. You can do it however you want. If you want to create a scene and build your focal point pieces into that scene, I've actually seen some really cool cards done with these dies. I went and did a little bit of research and did a little bit of looking around to see what people were doing. And there are a couple of creators out there that have mixed their dies with other sets, other Halloween sets, and they've come up with some really, really cool things. So you definitely want to go looking around to see what else is out there. So let's go ahead and assemble our skull mug. And we've got some hot chocolate in ours. So I cut this piece out of a piece of tan shimmer paper. So we're going to put that in the base. And there are little score lines on here for where the pieces go. a little hard to see on camera. You can kind of see, maybe, where the eyes are on this and the nose, but that's where I'm going to put those black pieces at. But right there is where the liquid goes. So let's go ahead and put the eyes on here next. I did cut my eyes out of glitter paper or shimmer paper. And I kind of got on a kick with these Halloween cards that they had to have glitter paper or shimmer paper. It just gives them something a little extra, I think. And I like the look of it. And again, if you don't have the glitter paper or the shimmer paper, not a big deal. Just use what you have. I will put a link. The glitter paper and the shimmer paper I'm using came from either Amazon or from Office Depot. Got it right this time. I didn't say Home Depot. And I have links for those. There's some really good deals for shimmer paper and glitter paper on Amazon. And that's where I get mine from. And we'll put his little hole for his nose. Okay, now this part is a little tricky because you have to layer things in here the right way for it to turn out right. So let's go ahead and put the tombstone in here that says SIP on it. I'll just put that just like that. Okay, and the straw, the pieces for the straw, it was one die that has both pieces in it. So because I wanted it to be striped like theirs is, I do have an orange straw and a black straw, both with the orange and the black pieces. So I'm going to assemble both of these and then decide which one I want to use. And the fun thing about that it cuts out both pieces at one time, is if you're making more than one of these cards, then you have pieces right there for 2 cards. Now we'll do the orange straw with the black stripes in it. And I do think that I like their version with the orange straw with the black stripes. So I think that's the one that we're going to go with. But I'm going to save this one in case I make this card again. Okay, and then we have our little bat. Now their bat is in pink. I did my bat in black. You could do your bat in whatever color you want to make it in. There wasn't any pink that was in the pattern paper that I was using on this one. And I just thought the pink would have stood out too much. And I guess I don't need the glue the whole way up on the bat, just on the part of the straw, on the stir stick. Just like that. Okay, and then we got our little marshmallows, our mini marshmallows, which I did cut out of white shimmer paper. Love me some shimmer paper. You see how easy this all comes together? So we put our white marshmallows in here. We're going to hold that down a little bit so it starts to stick. And then the ghost, in order to get his eyes to be the black behind them, they give you this little oval. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the glue on this piece so I don't get it all over that oval. And these tiny little pieces, I always end up with glue on my fingers. Okay, and we're just going to let that dry. And then this piece is the black behind where his teeth are. And this glue will dry clear on here. Okay, and let's glue our little ghost onto our little tombstone. Just like that. And we're going to let him dry a little bit before I go ahead and pop him up. And actually his teeth need to be split up a little bit. Okay, we're going to let that dry, and we're going to go ahead and stamp this sentiment. Alright, now I'm going to clean this up and we'll come back and finish this card. Okay, so all this is pretty much dry now. So we're going to go ahead and finish assembling this and finish off our card for the day. And we're going to pop both of these up on here. The dimensionals are a little bit sticky. I think just like that will do it. So you know what, let's go ahead and pop some of these on here as well, because we have them, so why not use them? And again, my placement of these is just going to be very random. Yeah, I think that'll work. Just like that. And with that, we have today's completed card. I hope you enjoyed seeing this one come together. This was a lot of fun to make. I love all the little pieces for this, and I can't wait to make some more of these ones. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you'll be back tomorrow to see what day 9 is. We're almost to the end. We only have 13 days, so just a couple more. So until tomorrow, have a great rest of the day.